Yo, what up, what up? It's Eric Spivak here once again with Blockster at token 2049, and we are here with iExec. And I would love for Nathan to give a little bit of an introduction, and it's a little loud here, so I need you to be a little loud. But yeah, give us a little introduction of who you are and what you do with iExec and what you guys are accomplishing as a business that's been around for a while now. And yeah, I'd love a breakdown, and then we'll just get into it.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Nathan, the CRO of iExecs, so Chief Revenue and Custom Officer. iExecs is a French project founded back in 2017. We raised an ICO at the time, so it's helped us to be self-funding and to not relying on investors and provide the best tech that we have. So it's an infrastructure project. We have builders to protect and valorize digital assets that they have. Builders, but also users that needs to keep the privacy and keep the monetization system into their personal data, but also their business data, of course. So this is where iExec comes from, mixing off-chain computing and data confidential processing on-chain with TEs, so trusted execution environment, to make the whole process and workflows and pipeline works for keeping your privacy-preserving infrastructure.
All right. So, I mean, I guess starting at the basics, what was the core purpose in 2017? What was the goal or mission or vision that you guys had with this technology, not knowing what the future had in store? I mean, from 2017 to 2025 I mean, the conversations are still the same in terms of privacy, ownership, identity, management, maintenance, you know. So I guess at that time, what was the original goal?
Yeah, good question. I think it's a company founded back by researchers, so specialized in confidential computing, cryptography, and any sort of privacy as well from 20 years. So they already built iExec before, but it was not on chain and without a token. Yeah. So we made iExec before since I would say 25 years, something like that, and we bridged that to Web3. Because it was the philosophy in 2017. So philosophy of decentralized infrastructure, keeping your privacy, but without any speculative things, just keep the basis of that. So it moves a lot, of course. Yeah. Here the philosophy is not the same. You can feel the different sort of energy at Talking 2049, of course. Right. But the basis keep the same and remain the same, of course. So how as a person, an individual, or a company, I can keep the privacy of my things, of my assets that are valuable, and how this works into a global workflow with interaction with different people. Right. And now I can really generate revenues thanks to what I provided before, and how, with who, and for what. Right. So the basis remains the same, but of course the market changed a bit. Yep. We moved from a really startup an innovation system to something that needs to be bigger, with more corporate value as well, and with really impact focus and not just promising stuff. Right. So this is also how we navigated into this ocean through the different cycle. Yeah. But we're still here. We still have the vision, ambitions, and traction, of course. So that's feel the energy also.
Yeah. So I mean, from then till now, sounds like you've created somewhat of a firewall or a buffer where somewhere between that wall and you, stuff is happening, and that stuff that's happening is really a bunch of qualifiers and verifiers and identifiers, while still allowing you to maintain your autonomy and your anonymity if you need to. And you know, I think there was a moment over the last 4 years in particular, I think, where anonymity was deemed it was demonized. It was looked at as a very bad thing. If you were anonymous, you were up to no good. Because why would somebody good want to be hiding their identity? But simultaneously, you know, a lot of maintaining your name, image, and likeness and your personal brand is one part of it on a cosmetic and aesthetic side, and on a personal end. But on the other end, when it comes to finance, you know, if you have all of your money in a wallet that's on the blockchain that's publicly available or accessible for people to see, that could leave you jeopardized or susceptible to physical harm or endangerment, which then might require you to spend more money on security or move a little differently. So you're kind of becoming a system of trust and almost like three-factor verification without signature, so to speak. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. We consider ourselves as a trust layer for DePIN and AI. So you use the terms of trust. That is absolutely sum up the situation. You mentioned the privacy before. I think privacy was considered too much as privacy token, and in terms of how do I maintain my privacy by mixing my asset that I have on chain and keeping confidential layer. But I think right now, especially with the use of AI models and the use of AI application, we understood that as an individual or as a company, I provide every day a huge amount of data to different applications that sometimes are really decentralized, but sometimes are super centralized. So this is also where we provide the trust layer for DePIN and AI by bridging decentralized infrastructure with our partners, such as, for example, we don't have their own ownership of the confidential and computing power to the system. So this is why we partner with Aether, for example, on that.
Makes sense.
We have a decentralized storage solution with different partners as well. Our machines are not only on the same place. So, and of course, different stakeholders participate to the network and to maintain really decentralized focus. So this is where also the sort of new privacy is coming to by bridging different actors that share the same value to provide really decentralized infrastructure and data processing for the system. Because we saw with the surge of AI application and AI models, we put so much energy and so much data into that personal data, such as trading behaviors, for example, wallet address, name, contract info, stuff like that. So how do I really have the promises that this project will maintain my privacy if I'm putting all this stuff to this project directly without having an open source infrastructure privacy preserving. So this is of course where iExec comes in.
Yeah. No, I mean, even that for me, like, I don't know, I've had so many wallets like compromised over the years. I've had so many passwords leaked. I've had so many different forms of almost trauma building moments, which I guess you could only negate to trust issues being created, no pun intended. But I guess how do people gain peace of mind that, you know, Anon can transact with Anon without any intermediary if something in between has to sign to complete the deals? You know?
Okay.
I guess what would be like the layman's terms of understanding maybe the process of which?
Yeah, sure. So to understand the process, I need to really super shortly deep dive into the protocol. So we have a part that is off-chain, which is the TEs, really, that works with the Intel machine. So currently with the SGX, but also with TDX as well. So this is where the processing is going, and this after that makes off-chain computing to enclave, which is sort of black box, where everything is encrypted, and nobody has access to what is encrypted inside the black box. Even the person that is really encrypting the thing don't know what is happening inside the black box. So after that, I'm taking something on chain to prove the really encrypting data that is stored on iExec, but also on different partners solution that we have. Could be IPFS, could be Arweave, different things like that. And after that, I can control who has access to my data that are encrypted. So for how much price, how many time, who has access, for what, and everything. So this is where really the ownership of the data is coming. So I encrypt. I don't know what is happening to the black box because it's really relying on the Intel machine and the T process. And after that, I can control, for example, if I encrypt my TG-ID, I can control who has access to my TG-ID for how many limits of access, and especially for which kind of application. You mentioned AI, but also we mentioned DeFi kind of use cases. One of the really simplest use case that we have is, of course, you're a trader. So you know how does it work to provide liquidity into a pool, and after that, how do I remember that I provided the liquidity into this pool, and how do I track the liquidity that I put in that pool? Of course, you don't want to not be doxxed with your wallet address, and you don't want to, in the front of the application, enter your email address or TG-ID that will be linked in the back with your EVM address. So this is where also iExec provides the solution. We encrypt the contact info, and after that you can just parameter within the application of with who you're interacting. What will be the different condition you want to receive notification on. That works with the different builders that we have into our ecosystem. They integrated this tool that we call Web3 Mail or Web3 Telegram based on what you want to protect.
Got it.
And after that, I can say, I want to receive a notification when the APR is going out to 20%, for example, when there is a huge movement into the pool, or just I want to receive a notification when the pool will be probably dead to withdraw my fund, because it happens so many times.
Yeah. So it's like almost like set notifications for stop loss with this message to this TG bot or Telegram bot, working similarly in that fashion. And if it's not TG, then it's WhatsApp, and if it's not WhatsApp, then it's Signal. If it's Signal, it's Discord, etc. But it basically just, once it's in the box, you have a unique identifier, and that's the only interactions that can happen. It's kind of a one-way street, other than that one way out, which is you. Right. Okay. That's interesting. I guess, what would you say is the biggest form of obstruction or adversity or hardship that you guys are facing now that you're many years apart from the launch? And obviously there's competitors and there's collaborators, but what would you say is like the biggest difficulty you guys are facing with continued growth and scaling?
We have a lot of difficulties, of course. This is why also we walk into Web3 to try to solve these different difficulties. The market conditions are one of them, of course, but we'll not talk about that, I think, today.
You can't control that one.
I can't control that one. I think we had the difficulty, and we say that before, about how people really feel what is privacy and how is the value of the privacy. So this is the difficulty that we have. It's moving a little bit, but it needs to change as well. People need to understand that what they own has value, and if they don't generate revenues and profits based on the value that they have, something and someone else is going to generate the value. So this is something that needs to move, but I don't think we're talking here about really Web3 vision. I think it needs to be globalized. It's Web2 vision as well. We are all interacting with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is knowing everything about us.
Everything about everyone.
So this is one of the difficulties that we have. Another difficulty would be how really good projects are building sort of not only innovation, but really real world use cases based on that. Because innovation is simple. Everyone has an ID and we can push any ID. But how is this ID really simple and stupid to be pushed into real world use case application? And this is something that I think Web3 in general needs to solve as well. It's how I can pitch a super simple ID that would be useful for every day, without just talking about stable coins or DeFi application, but a more globalized application. Even SoFi, for example, or even LWA could be enough. But it's a really huge challenge. This is what different foundations and protocols are facing. But also this is what users of Web3 application needs to solve with the new spirits that they can bring.
So it's basically ideally figuring out better forms of adoption that are at scale or at mass. And you have DMVs all over the world, departments of motor vehicles, and you have the military, Air Force, US Army, etc. also adopting this a little bit. You're seeing AI used in identification and tracking of things. You're seeing it in medicine and healthcare. You're seeing a lot of these different use cases that actually really do lean into the need, not the want, but the necessity of privacy of records, as even we're seeing robot lawyers and legal come up too. So I think it's not if but when, and the way things are moving, there's going to be a point where it's like, okay, who has the best solution for us to safely have, this that you guys are offering? And ideally, if you're still around, and you will be the industry leader because you have the track record and the history and the proof of work, plus ideally a lot of adoption and users that can talk and vouch for, hey, and then it's really a matter at that point, like how many actual problems are you solving? And I think all those things combined will lead to greener pastures and a lot of additional success and longevity.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
yeah. Well, I like to see it and hear it, and I'd like to use it so I can talk about it more effectively. Is there anything else you want to tell the masses about the project? Anything up and coming with iExec? Anything that you think people need to hear and know about?
Yeah, sure. As I mentioned before, iExec is an infrastructure that was founded back in 2017. So we have huge ambition for this cycle, but I'm not talking about just cycle in terms of bull market and bear market. Talking about the global future strategy that we started already to implement.
Right.
Because of course the global market Web3 is running into cycles models, but it needs to be much more longer than just providing value token into a bull market and after saying nothing into the bear and keep building. It needs to be changed. This is also how we move the strategy to really focus into our token, into our adoption, and into our really project and infrastructure, how this infrastructure will be really useful into Web3 project that we have. So this is why also, for example, last year we had more than 60 builders into different verticals that build with iExec, DeFi, AI, LWA, SoFi, any form of a vertical that needs to protect data. We also have a huge ambition into our token for this month, these different months. This is why we proceeded to buyback a few weeks ago to, I will say something, to get more incentive for our holders, builders, and every stakeholders of the network. Yeah. We launched our own ecosystem fund as well to invest into our builders, but also do some strategical investments into the ecosystem to spread the iExec word as well. Yeah. And we have a good partnership that will come. I was talking about the 8th year and the Wave. But also different the partnership that will come to that. So this is where we try to provide the value into the infrastructure that works since several years, and now that could be really tangible for builders and for users, but also holders into this cycle. So the good things will come.
Makes sense. So sounds like you have a grant program. You're providing the resources. You're giving access to the tools. You're open sourcing things a little bit. You're providing the support. You have the community. Seems like you got everything there to make things move and groove and shake the same way that they need to. So, yeah, I mean, I don't hear any problems. I don't know where, other than maybe visibility and awareness and people understanding what you guys are offering and doing. I think it sounds like you have a solid project. So, appreciate your time, Nathan.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you much. All right, we're out, guys.